What's going on YouTube? Nate the Great back at it again in the gym today with a leg session. And as you can tell by the title, not exactly the leg session I was hoping for. Um, and this is one of the biggest letdowns after yesterday's honestly great chest session. I was planning on doing the same style of training this week for the rest of my lifts, which is doing a 5x3 on my compound movement at about 85% of my 1 rep max. And I'm still not 100% back, I guess you could say, in terms of my my leg day, my squat, because 85% of my 1 rep max is 200 pounds, and my 5x3 today was with 185. So that's a pretty big blow to my ego. Especially after my ego was kind of inflated yesterday. Oh man, I hit a 5x3 and then I was still able to hit a pretty decent weight for a single. I had a great pump yesterday and everything. But then for this to come in and be like, sorry, gonna knock you down a few pegs there, buddy. It's not exactly the greatest feeling, but as always, started off with just the bar for a set of 20, moved up to 135 for a set of 12, and then 155 here for a set of, I think it's 8 or 10. I think it was 10. I don't know. I don't count. Before moving on into my actual sets. And I knew it was going to be a bad session from the beginning when even 135, which is warm-up weight, felt kind of like it was a working set. It didn't feel like a warm-up. So I knew going into these few sets that 185 was probably going to be the only part that this was as heavy as I was going to be going today, which sucks. I was looking forward to hitting some heavy weight for the first time on squat in a while. So, although I guess you could consider 185 to be heavyweight for me on squat. But anyway, the purpose of doing this 5x3 was to get away from the volume in terms of the number of reps I do, take a break from all that volume, while still not veering too far from that kind of mindset where, I'm still doing 5 sets. Granted, it's 5 sets of just 3, but it's still 5 sets. And for me, doing any kind of strength training doesn't necessarily work all that well, especially with things like deadlift. I've more often simply injured myself. I pulled my lower back about a year and a half or so ago. Actually, it was almost 2 years now. And so generally, I don't tend to go very heavy, if at all. So hitting a 5x3 is safe for me. I don't go in and hit a 1 rep max every week. I hardly ever go into any sort of heavy sets, especially when I'm doing volume. If anything, I'll go up to like 5 reps or 3 reps for a couple sets and come back down and work into sets with a lot of volume. That's just my preferred training style choice. It's what my body responds to more, because I'm just not a very strong person. I'm not a very big person. And the only way that my body really responds to training is by a lot of volume. Just, hammering away at everything. But after my working sets with my squats, I moved on to leg press with 5 1/3 of a plate, which totals some number. Remember to edit that in later. After my 3 sets of 10 on leg press, I moved into single leg extensions with 62.5 pounds, because this machine is also weird and it goes up by 12.5 pounds as opposed to just 12 pounds, because my life needs to be more complicated. And I did 3 sets of 12 on each leg before finishing off the day with my calves, abs, and bicep routine. And because it's a leg day, I did dual leg with 240 pounds for 3 sets of 20 before moving on to my incline bicep curl, which I hadn't done in a while, and so I figured I'm gonna spice things up just a little bit. And I really love this movement because it doesn't really allow for really any other muscle to be hit aside from just the bicep and obviously the forearm. But there's no, you can't, sway your body even a little bit. You can't give yourself any leverage, with your hips. It's just curling. So I did 3 sets of 8 with the 25-pound dumbbells. But that does it for this video, guys. And you can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Nate the Great Harmon. And I will see you all in the next video.